Here is quite a nice story. Actually, I just remember from one of the Upanishad where he 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 had this clear question or the reasoning with people who are sort of coming to him as a monks or as a sadhu. So any sadhu, any monk or sannyasi came to his door, asked for any sort of help. His question was clearly, tell me, is it the Grahastha Marga is superior to the Sanyasa Marga, or the Sanyasa is superior to Grahastha Marga? Now, half of the sannyasis would tell him, oh, wow, the Grahastha Marga is superior. So the king was like, oh, wow, if that Marga is superior, you should also renounce, leave your sannyasa and come back to Grahastha Marga. And if you say other way around, the Sanyasa Marga is superior to Grahastha, then you would have to prove it. And it took, years and years. No one can ever actually justify it. But as the story goes on, one of the sadhu or one of the guru, Svetaswar, I think his name, if I'm right, that this great enlightened yogi or the sadhu came to his door, and the king asked him exactly the same question. Which one is the superior path of Grahastha or the sannyasa? So the guy said, well, neither of them is superior, and each one of them are superior or have their own quality or superiority in its own way. Now, to start with, the king was like, oh, so he didn't really give answer to either way. But he said, oh, you have to prove it. Tell me, can you prove that they both are superior in their own context, in their own reference? The rishi, this yogi said, oh, yes, of course I can prove it, but you will have to come with me for a journey to actually experience the superiority of both the margas. So the king agreed, like, well, I will come with you. Next morning, they both got their backpacks and ready, and off they go. Now, as they came on their journey, one of the greatest of the king, he was having what we call the Swambra. Is sort of like it's a ceremony where all these princes, they will be there to choose the right kind of prince or husband for themselves. So there are lots of princes, gathered there, expressing or explaining their powers, their abilities, skills. And one of the princes, the ceremony was organized for. She met with all these princes, all these kings, and these great people, and she did not find any of them attractive or suitable for herself. And at that point, one of these young sadhu or the young monk, he walked through the door, and because of his sadhana, because of his power, he was very vibrant, and there is amazing energy that glowing through him. And he was a young handsome man, and also very wise and calm and sort of quite collected. So when the princess looked at him, she absolutely fell in love and went and put the garland on his, across his neck. Now, the sadhu, obviously, he was in a completely different state, and it took him quite a while to come to the realization that she is trying to marry him. So when he realized, he takes the garland out and give it back to the princess, and he said, Princess, my dear mother, please forgive me. I'm a sadhu, I'm an enlightened being, I'm a liberated soul, I'm a renounced soul. I am not interested in getting married. Now, the king at that point, stood up and got a bit upset, and he said, do you know, sadhu, do you know, you stupid monk, what are you letting go? She is my daughter, she is my only daughter, and the person who marries her will own my throne, will own all this wealth, all this pleasure that has been part of my kingdom. So the sadhu looked at him and he said, oh, wow, that may be a pleasure, that may be something of great value for you, but it has no value to me. For me, only thing that matters is the love of the divine, the consciousness, this connectedness with the divine. And he left. He did not even look back. For him, all this wealth, the possessions, the material did not matter. Now, as in on that path, then the king and the sadhu, the yogi, they both left and went on to a long journey again. And as they went on the journey again, walking through the forests, and one of the long day, they got overly tired and they could not find anywhere to stay. They could not find any food. And as as on the journey, they kind of came at the very entrance of a village, and they were sitting under a tree, and it was quite a cold sort of night or evening. They were feeling quite cold, quite shivering, and lots of people walked past them, seeing somebody so well dressed up, looking so wealthy, and a sadhu or a monk sitting by them. Most people came past and then they left him. Some people actually looked at them. Some people asked some questions to them, but no one actually offered them any help, any food or shelter. But anyway, as the story goes on, one of the family, the poor farmer, his wife and his children, they came back after a long day working on the farm, and they saw the king and the sadhu sat by the tree. So they came to them and had a bit of chat, and he said, the farmer and his wife, they said, we're not really very wealthy, but if you are happy, we would like to look after you, we would like to provide you shelter and take care of you guys, if you are happy to accept it. Obviously, in the king and the sadhu, they had nowhere else to go, so they accepted it. They came to the home of the sadhu and, sorry, the farmer. Now, this farmer is very poor and he has very limited resources. So to feed the sadhu and the king, they have no food left for themselves. So they managed to feed the king, the sadhu, and their kids, but both of them have to stay hungry for that night. And as the story goes on, even again, the king was watching or witnessing all this sacrifice, all this shraddha, or the faith and the attitude of service, where we offer whatever we have been blessed with to people who are in need. So, at the end of the story, then, in the morning when the king and the sadhu walk away, and sadhu explained to him, hopefully now you have witnessed that the sannyasa is superior in one way, and then the grahastha is superior in its own way. So they both have their own beauty, they both have their own path, and both the margas are leading us to the same state of self-realization or the divine bliss or Sat Chit Ananda.